What's up, everybody? It is your girl here, GenuinelyDivine, coming at you today with a video all about the Taurus Rising. Hi, Taurus Rising people. How are you guys doing today? And welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead, click that subscribe button because I'm always bringing the truth. I'm always bringing the love and the peace. So if you love that, go ahead and click that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you never ever miss an upload from me. Now, if you're here because you were born around the Taurus dates, which is starting around April 20th and ending around May 20 something, and you're like, I'm a Taurus, I need to be here, I need to be watching this video. Now, you may not be in the right location. In all actuality, you can be born any day of the year, any month. What matters is what time you were born and what zodiac sign was rising in the east during your time of birth. Now that we have all of the mechanical situations out of the way, I guess that's the right word, I don't know. Let's move on into the video. So, Taurus rising people, Taurus. If you are a Taurus rising person, then Venus is your chart ruler. Venus is the planet of love, beauty and abundance, creativity, peace and harmony. So you Taurus people tend to be very peaceful, very loving, very kind, very gentle. You're just good people, right? All around good people. You love to be surrounded by beauty. You like to feel beautiful things. You just love beauty, okay? And you love peace and you don't want people bothering you, right? Taurus is the zodiac sign of materialistic gains and possessions, right? Well, not necessarily. You like material things, but Taurus rules the second house, and the second house is all about materialistic gains and values and just materialistic things, you know, what you value in this world, money that you earn in this world through your career, you know, your job or whatever, even inheritances, because the second house is also associated with the eighth house. But whatever the case may be, Taurus is the type of sign, they care about what they look like, they care about what they're being like, they care about what they're feeling like. And Taurus is a fixed sign, which means that Taurus do not change their minds very quickly for anybody. All right, so with that being said, Taurus rising people embody these traits more so than a sun Taurus a lot of times. So they're the type of people, they're all about their appearance, what they look like. They value what they look like, okay? That's very important to Taurus people. They're gonna always have themselves groomed very well, very nicely. You do not find Taurus rising people who are not groomed very well. Now, your rising also determines your features, what you look like, because it is a projection of the physical body as well as the personality. I will not talk about the physical attributes of your rising. I will link a video in the drop down box where I do talk about what you look like based on your rising and sun sign, okay? They will be very materialistic type people. They gotta have the nicest things. Now, I'm not gonna say that they're the type that gotta have a BMW, they gotta have a Mercedes or what, a Lamborghini, the most expensive thing. They don't have to have the most expensive thing, but some of them do. In some isolated cases, you do have Taurus rising people, they have to have the ultimate best. They have to have the ultimate best or top of the line of everything. But you do have the ones who just want to have nice things. They gotta have them, okay? And they don't have to be top of the line. It just has to be really nice and to their liking. Taurus rising people, they're very peaceful. They love to keep a harmonious atmosphere at work, at home, whatever they're doing. They like to be harmonious. They like to keep peace. Now, the bull is the ruling symbol for Taurus, and the bull is just kind of like relaxing, always out there just cooling, eating their grass and just relaxing. That's just what they like. So a Taurus rising person, they're just kind of like cool, they're calm and they're collected. They tend to be kind of quiet. They're more introverted than they are extroverted. They don't cause a scene or big scene or anything like that. But one thing about the Taurus rising person is they're gonna always be looking for those extra streams of income because they need that in their life. They have Gemini on the second house cusp, and Gemini is all about dual action, right? All about that logic and always thinking. So to have it in your house of values, what you place values on, then Taurus rising people, they place value in having multiple streams of income, you know, from different aspects. They're always thinking of new ways to make money. They're always thinking of new ways to create opportunities for themselves. So Taurus rising people, to me, I feel like a lot of them can also be entrepreneurs. You know, the type of people who always out there, they're hustlers, okay? They are the type of people, they're gonna find a way to bring in some money, either through other people or through other type of opportunities, you know, that's besides their actual stable job or career. They're gonna always find a way. And I think that's really cool for Taurus rising people, because they're gonna always have money coming in, you know, because they place value on being able to, you know, create dual opportunities to have money coming in for them. Now they have Cancer on the third house cusp, so a lot of times they can be very emotional when they talk, and again, this really makes them very introverted, so they're not big talkers. A lot of times they're mainly doers. You have Taurus on the rising, and then you have Cancer on the third house cusp of logical thinking and things of that nature. So they're always thinking in a way of comfort. They're always thinking about comfort. You know, they want to be comfortable in their home. They want to be comfortable when they're communicating with people. So a lot of times when they communicate, they may communicate about home-like type things, like home-like type activities, you know. That's something that probably will actually, they may be emotional when they speak. You know, if someone really pisses them off or gets them really angry or something, they may become very emotional when they speak, you know, or aggressive. That's probably why, like, a lot of times they're very quiet and reserved. They don't talk a lot because they do know that somebody hit the wrong button, say the wrong things, they become emotional and aggressive. And the last thing you want to do is piss a Taurus off, because you know a bull, they're just calm and peaceful, but when you do that one wrong thing, they're gonna charge after your ass. That's how Taurus rising is. So just let them be peaceful, let them be where they are. In their early development life, some of them could have been homeschooled, where their mom just kind of like felt like, maybe, you know, I'll just teach you here, or maybe their mom was a teacher or of some sort, and they just kind of like worked with them a lot and just kind of like, you know, gave them a lot of things. So this kind of like, or maybe somehow they probably went to a private school. I feel like some of them could have went to a private school or a very small school, and you know, where they didn't actually have to interact with a lot of kids. But you know, that's just a possibility for some of them. But however, whichever, I feel like they were the type of people they were kind of like very passive, you know, when it came to their learning. It was like they were like, okay, if it's something good, okay, I like it. They maybe had favorite subjects where they did really good in, and then had these other subjects that they didn't really like, and so they didn't do so good in those. So early development for them, you know, they probably was like the type of, with their siblings or whatever, they could have been the oldest, or they could have been the youngest, it doesn't matter, but they could have been the one where, even if they were the youngest, they seem like the oldest, and like their brothers and their sisters will probably come and talk to them over talking to their parents, because the Taurus rising person just give really good advice, and the way they talk to them is always in a nurturing way, but at the same token, they're still their brother or their sister, so that their siblings can probably confide in them and just find that solace when talking with them. So Taurus risings are probably really good brothers and sisters. You know, somebody probably look up to them. This is my big brother, this is my big sister, and I love her so much. So that can definitely be a theme for Taurus rising people. When it comes to Taurus rising, they also have Leo on the fourth house cusp. So during their time of growing up, when they were growing up in their household, like a lot of times maybe they had a type of mom that got a lot of attention, the type of mom who paid them a lot of attention and just really showed them a lot of love. Like I said, I feel like because they do have Cancer on their third house cusp, that they actually were homeschooled, and maybe their mom was the one that was homeschooling them. Also with this Leo being here, their mom probably showed them a lot of attention, or their mom was like a huge attention getter or seeker somehow. Also, I just feel like Taurus rising was just like the center of attention in their family dynamic. Like maybe the mom and the dad were like, this is my baby right here, this is my special one that's so smart, da da da. Maybe they didn't say that, but maybe the other siblings felt like there was a special bond between the Taurus rising child opposed to them with their parents. And so this right here kind of like taught the Taurus rising person that they deserve the best of everything. So throughout their life, you know, growing up in this household where their mom showed them so much love and attention and affection, like throughout their life they feel like this is how life should be. I should always get what I need and what I want. So throughout their life, that's what they go through. They search for things that they want and things that they need. They need comfort and they need materialistic things. They need things that they can touch and feel, you know, because that's what they're going to find value in. Also, with Taurus rising people, they have Virgo on the 5th house cusp. And you know, this is on the cusp. This is the house of our dating life, our entertainment, you know, our children and things of nature. So Taurus are very serious when it comes to dating. They don't want to like meet someone and just date and have all these one-night stands or these flings or anything. They just want to find someone that they can actually, you know, put all their time into, you know, put their interest into, find, you know, that common ground with someone, stabilize their life with this person and build from that. Taurus rising people, they like to build. They don't want to just, you know, go out here and do this, you know, with this person, and I go and do this with this person. No, they want stability. They have Earth on the rising and then they have Earth on the 5th house. They want stability. That's what Taurus risings live for. They live for stability. They don't want this you know, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna see this person tomorrow. No, they want marriage, okay? They want marriage on the spot if they can have it, if they feel that way. But of course, they're gonna do all their work. They can be very analytical and very critical when it comes to their dating life. Like they can just kind of like, you know, cut a person down. They're gonna like look at every aspect of a person before they actually even go out on a first date with them, because they need to know that you're the right person that they're putting their time into. Because remember, they find value in doing things that matter to them, okay? They building, you know, creating, they find value in creating different sources of income, you know, so they value, you know, stability in their life. That's why they create these opportunities for themselves to bring money in for themselves. So if they're gonna date somebody, this person gonna have to be able to add to their life and not take away from their life. They're gonna have to add value to their life somehow, you know, and so they're gonna make sure they pay close attention to details. They're gonna pay close attention to how this person acts, you know, in a relationship when they're dating before they actually move into the next step. But once they realize that this is the right person and this person is going to add value to their lives, then they're going to move, they're going to progress into marriage, because that is very important to a Taurus rising. Position and status is very important. You know, I know Capricorn is like rule the status house and, you know, all about status, but Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo are all earth signs and they have a lot of similarities and they're all about stability, and having that type of stability and status is very important for Taurus rising. Taurus rising people, they tend to be, you know, like they always trying to find a balance. You know, a lot of times they can sometimes they can overstimulate themselves when it comes to work, because they are creating all of these, you know, multiple facets of income coming into their life or opportunities. Sometimes they can overwhelm themselves and they got to try to find that balance. Sometimes they can find themselves feeling out of balance when it comes to their work, you know, their routine and stuff. Sometimes they have to relax and they feel like their work and their relationship sometimes can feel like it's conflictual to, you know, because it can conflict with, you know, their work can conflict with their love life, because they have Libra on the 6th house cusp. The Libra is all about balance and balancing the scales, you know, trying to keep a balance, trying to keep harmony. So sometimes even at work, they can feel like, you know, there's just not a balance there, or sometimes they can feel like they just don't get what they truly deserve on certain jobs, because a lot of times I don't look at Taurus rising people as being leaders, although they can be leaders, but I just feel like Taurus are the type of people, they like to work in the background, you know. But with Libra being here on the 6th house cusp, I feel like a lot of them, they just feel sometimes that they kind of like get pushed in the back, and they don't always get, you know, the recognition that they deserve in work. And they have to find a balance between, you know, how to deal with their day-to-day routine, the monotony of their day and things that goes on at work, but they're always trying to keep the balance and the peace. But a lot of times, Taurus rising, you have to speak up for yourself, because if you don't speak up for yourself, no one else is gonna do it for you sometimes. But for the most part, you have to take care of yourself. So you're always like it seems like Taurus rising people are always struggling, trying to balance things out in their life, especially their everyday type routine. So they may have a difficult time with that. To their 7th house, they have Scorpio here. So these are the type of people, they're very freaky, they're extremely freaky, they're introverted and quiet, and like they say, the quiet ones are the ones you have to watch. They're extremely sneaky, they're very deep, you know, when it comes to intimacy, it comes to relationships and partnerships. They can be very sneaky when it comes to work as well, you know. They can be underhanded, conniving, you know. They'll do whatever they have to do, again, because they like to have multiple facets of income coming in. So they can be sneaky and conniving. They care about materialistic things. So this is where, when partnerships and business partnerships and relationships come into hand, you have to watch out for Taurus rising people, because sometimes they can be very conniving, very sneaky, you know, and they can actually be the type of people where they can exchange their body for actual income, you know, to a certain extent. And in their relationship, they may be the type of person where they may marry someone because they are able to provide for them. You know, they do look for a deep intimacy, they do look for a loyal partner, they do want to be faithful, and they want their partner to be faithful. But I do feel like a lot of Taurus rising people, they can have certain type of rules incorporated in their marriage and in their relationship that can involve other people, and also it can also be based on financial gains as well. The thing about Taurus rising who have Scorpio on the 7th house cusp is they can be very jealous, they can become very possessive in their relationships, they can be it can be very difficult to satisfy them sexually. So there can be a lot of, you know, transformations in the relationships, a lot of changes in the relationship for most Taurus rising people. With Sagittarius being on the 8th house, they can be very passionate when it comes to lovemaking. They can be very, you know, freedom loving too when it comes to that. So that's why I say they can be extremely freaky. They can be extremely something like a whole nother person when it comes to the bedroom. They totally transform through partnerships and relationships. They're totally opposite of what you see on the surface. Like, people probably tell Taurus rising person all the time, wow, I never thought you were like this, I never thought you would be this type of person. And then they're like, yeah, of course, you know, I mean, this is my everyday type personality, and this is my behind closed doors type personality. I can just see that with them. And like, with them having Sagittarius in the 8th house, a lot of times they get lucky with finding people, you know, that actually want to invest in them, that actually give them money and want to take care of them. So I feel like Taurus rising people, they do marry pretty well, and they do actually come up off of marriage. You know, they kind of like get that extra income, they get that comfortable materialistic life through their partners. If they're not doing it on their own, they definitely can get it through their partners. Now they have Capricorn on the 9th house cusp, so they're not really big on a whole lot of taboo things when it comes to, like, you know, mysticism and all of that. Some of them could be, depending on your moon and everything else in your chart, but a lot of them with Capricorn on the 9th house, they're kind of like practical, very logical. So a lot of them are just spiritual people. Like, if they are spiritual, they are not really spiritual, but they're more religious people. They're probably the type of people, I just want to go to church, give God my time, you know, pay my tithes and my offerings, and then I'm going home, you know, and just live my life. You know, I've done what I'm supposed to do. They're not really big on, you know, they're probably not going to be the type of person to do a lot of research on astrology, or do a lot of research on, you know, Hindu or anything like that. They may, depending, but it's like they're just gonna be a little bit more like, you know, practical and logical, and just kind of like go with what kind of like society kind of like set in place for them to a certain extent, because it just seems more routine, because Capricorn is all about routine, and then it's all about status. So they want their status to be known that, hey, I'm a religious person, I go to church, I give my time, I pay my tithes, I do what I'm supposed to do. There you go, I'm done. So, you know, when it comes to travel, a lot of times when they do travel, is a lot of times they want to travel big. They want people to know, look at me, I'm big, I'm doing this, look how I'm doing it, you know. So they're the type of people, they're gonna probably post it all over social media, like, look at me, I'm doing it big. Or, you know, maybe not. They can be a little bit more reserved with it, because Capricorn is an earth and it's more about stability, but it's also a status sign. So sometimes they do want to make their status known, but probably in a kind of like a more quiet type way, and then some will probably do it in a really big way, so people can know, look at me, here I am, okay, all up in your face, right? You do Taurus rising people, they have Aquarius on the 10th house cusp, which is your career, your status. So a lot of people, when they look at Taurus rising people, they look at them as being innovative, creative, you know, they're just amazing people. They're extremely smart. People may look at Taurus rising people and say, these are incredibly smart people. They're very intelligent. The way they carry themselves, the way they create different jobs for themselves, you know, it's like, and then a lot of times Taurus rising people can come off as being really friendly when they're at work. They probably the type of people at work, people love them, because Aquarius is like the friendliest zodiac sign, like one of the friendliest zodiac signs opposed to Aries that there is. So they come off as being friendly, intelligent, but at the same token a tad bit weird, right? Because Aquarius is associated with weirdness, so they can be a tad bit different, and people just see that in them. But at the same token, they're so smart and they're so innovative, you know, they're so creative and talented that people want to get to know them better, even though they seem weird, and their employees or their employer may be like, hey, you know, there's like something's kind of wacko about that person, but they're just extremely kind, you know. And when they're Taurus rising people, when they're at work, they're huge humanitarians. Like, they may participate in all of the activities that are going on. Like, if there's a fundraiser, Taurus rising person at work, they're probably gonna be the main one, you know, putting in the most or always helping out. They're huge humanitarians, but because they have it on the 10th house cusp, I feel like that's where they're gonna really show the biggest support is at work. They're probably always helping people, teaching people, or trying to help people to reach their highest potential when they're at work. And they're just like really good people, and people are like, look at them and say, wow, this is like Taurus rising person is like the coolest person ever. Another thing about Taurus rising people is they're like really good friends. They're like some of the best friends that you can ever meet. They're so loyal, they're so caring, and they're so nurturing, because they do have Pisces on the 11th house cusp, and it's like their friends really appreciate them. Their friends really love them. So I do see them gaining so many opportunities through their friendships, or their friends just wanting to do great things for them because they are such good people, you know. And I just feel like because Taurus rising people are such generous friends, loving, kind, caring friends who will actually give their last to their friends or whatever, that they just get rewarded, because the 11th house is associated with our hopes and our wishes and the humanitarian, you know, all of those good things, friends, groups, and organizations. And because Pisces is here for Taurus rising people, they are like the best of friends. And these are the type of people who have best friends for a whole lifetime. You know how some people don't really have best friends for a lifetime, you know, they're just have some friends or whatever. Taurus rising people, they tend to have best friends for their whole lifetime. Like, they always have someone that they've been friends with throughout their whole life. They know how to build friendships, and they know how to hold them together. Taurus rising people are the type of people who will get up out of their bed at 1 o'clock and they will come and help you move. If you need them and you call them, they will help you. They are good friends. They are amazing. And having Pisces here, Pisces is the sign of such sensitivity, such love, and, you know, so godly, you know. And so their friends may look, Taurus rising people, their friends may look at them as a God sent, you know, because they are so kind, they are so loving. Oh, this is a really good placement, Taurus rising people, that you guys have. It's a really good quality that you guys have. A lot of people like me, I wish I had that quality, you know, where I could build friendships and, you know, be that great friend, but I don't. But, you know, you guys do, and that's wonderful. And And you know what, because you do have this placement, a lot of times people tend to kind of like take advantage of good people, and you may have been taken advantage of in your lifetime, but for the most part, most people, because you are sincere and so generous and so loving and kind to your friends, they don't take it for granted. A lot of times they really try to do whatever they can to keep it secure. So that's a really good quality for you guys. I really love that for you guys. Also, now another thing about Taurus rising people, like I said, I don't feel like Taurus rising people are leaders. They can be, they tend to like to kind of like lead from the back, you know, from the background, because they have Aries on their 12th house cusp. Aries is the sign of leadership. It is the sign of, you know, self, you know, and so having that place into the 12th house of isolation, you know, disillusions and illusions, it's kind of difficult for Taurus to display this huge burst of leadership. A lot of times they feel it in their souls that they are leaders, and they know they are and can be leaders. It's just that that part of themselves is kind of hidden away because it's in the 12th house. Aries is there, but it depends on how close that 12th house is to the first house. Some Taurus rising people are extremely courageous leaders. They're warriors. They're amazing. But at the same token, if it's more in the 12th house and more hidden away, then there are going to be type of people who are going to kind of like, you know, shy away from that leadership role and kind of like stay in the background, and that's okay. A lot of Taurus rising people who have the 12th house cusp of Aries there, a lot of times they have this powerful, they have confidence of who they are. They have a lot of confidence, you know, they're strong, you know, they're like, I know who I am, I know what I deserve, and I'm ready to take action. A lot of them can be extremely energetic, like really moving and just like wanting to do a lot of things, but I feel like those who have it more deeply in the 12th house, a lot of them can be a tad bit lazy, more lazy when it comes to doing things, but they're not as self-motivating as those who have it closer, have Aries or their 12th house closer to the first house cusp. But nonetheless, they still have this confidence that is undeniable. They also have these leadership qualities that is also undeniable, but because they kind of like feel more comfortable in the background, because they're not like the hugest talkers, because remember, they have Cancer on the 3rd house cusp, and then they have Taurus on the rising. So the house of communication, they have, you know, more of an introverted sign there, and then they have Taurus rising, which is more kind of like introverted as well. So they're not huge talkers, so they're not going to probably be the ones to just be leading with speaking or public speaking or anything like that, but they may be leaders in other type of ways. But for the most part, I just feel like they like working from the background. Overall, Taurus rising people are extremely dynamic. They're extremely loving. They're extremely loyal. They can be extremely in the closet type freaks. They are the type of people, they can just really make the best of friends. They're always there for their friends. Their friends can always count on them. On the negative side of Taurus rising people, to me, I feel like they can be a tad bit conniving. They can be a lot sneaky when it comes to relationships or partnerships, and when it comes to business in general, I feel like they can do underhanded type things to get ahead, because they are very materialistic driven. But overall, I just feel like Taurus rising people, this is like a really good position to have. And for those of you who have the position, please let me know down in the comment section what trait actually resonates with you. And until the next time, you guys, I wish you so much love, peace, and so many wonderful blessings. Bye.